probably in some minutes somewhere.
All right. We ready to roll?
Okay.
We'll bring the meeting to order. It's 4:32. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Jackson Selectmen, July 10th. First order of business to amend and approve the minutes from our June 26th meeting. Have you guys had a chance to look at these?
No,
I
I
want to
have
take
not.
a minute. Let's take a minute then and fresh off the press. Motion to approve.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is the action item update. Bill, we didn't load you up.
That's good.
Yeah.
I took it easy on you.
Start with you, John, in the
All
Dundee
right,
Cemetery.
I actually talked with B about the sign for a little while and figured that we would have to go to the cemetery folks, see if you can get one ordered up. And it's basically a 2-foot sign by about 5 inches, would you say, B?
Yeah.
Somewhere in black and white, pretty simple to make. I don't know if the guy...
Very plain.
Plain, no.
All it did was say Dundee Cemetery.
Yeah, it was, so I imagine it'd be a pretty short dollar to get one put up for that, so I would have to hit up the trustees on that.
Trustees of the cemetery.
And get that moving. But
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. And so then, for me, was to keep the ball rolling on the whole transfer station capital improvement plan. I had spoken to Gene since the last meeting, and he informed me that the Bartlett Selectmen were in favor of sharing the cost on the engineering.
really,
And
you know how much that was?
well, they knew that Burr's cost estimate came in between $3,500 and $4,500
Okay,
to
cool.
do the work, and they were fine with it. So, and then I spoke to Burr and asked him to go ahead and do the study up there and come up with whatever number of options he felt were reasonable for us to consider. And then when he has completed his engineering on that, he's going to let us know, and then we'll convene a meeting with him, both boards, probably John. Makes sense to have at the meeting
Sure.
as well. If you guys think that's a good idea, and we'll take it from there. One thing Berg was curious about was he wants to get in there during non-operating hours
Sure.
to kind of do his work. So I told him that it might be best to contact John, go through John, since he's a Town of Bartlett employee. But he'll let us know if he's got any issues with struggling to get a key to get in there during non-operating hours. The old library committee, I met with the Protestant Chapel Association and talked about just where that project stood, because I understood that there were some recent developments that caused them to change the way they were recommending that project go forward, as well as us all understanding there needs to be a land use agreement between the church, which is basically the Protestant Chapel Association in the town. Now that we've reformed the old library committee, and it's a selectmen appointed committee, we can now consider the town as having that operating authority. And that was the legal hurdle that we couldn't get over unless we reformed the committee. So, met with them. I came in with a kind of a list from Peter about what he felt the land use agreement should contain. Acknowledge the town owns the building, the church won't be taxed for the building or the land which it sits, an acknowledgement the church will have no responsibility. The town will indemnify and hold the church harmless from any liability associated with the building. And that Protestant Chapel Association in town are going to kind of revisit the terms of the land use agreement every 5 years. If you remember, the last thing anybody found was dated 1934, so we kind of felt that was 80 years was probably a long time to go without re-looking at that, and it could look like 100-year lease, and the amount right now is $100 a year. We leased that parcel for, and so and then there was some issue around if you remember, when it came to us, Joan Aubrey had worked with Fritz Koppel, come up with a way to hook the old library's outflow into a septic system on Fritz's land, on the Wentworth land. And it was going to skirt around the
buildings.
It was going to skirt around the driveway, but still be on the church land, and the church was fine with it. And they basically contracted with Tamarack to do the job, and so Michael met with the Chapel Association and basically outlined for them, it's like, look, trenching this pipe from the old library to the spot on the Wentworth land, it's going to, if you've been back there, there's a playground with two huge car-sized boulders. Those are going to have to go.
Oh, gosh.
It's going to chew up the edges of the driveway regardless, and that was the big concern they had for hooking into their septic, because they don't use it much. They've got 3 toilets in there. They've got a kitchen they use maybe once a week now because there's no daycare in there anymore. And that plumbed out bathroom in the old library is certainly not going to be a heavy load. So Burr's done the engineering study, and so now they're looking at, and they have approved the old library bathroom to be hooked into their septic system to really simplify the thing. And then wanted to know if that was okay with the town. So that's a general discussion here about the fact that I said, look, I'll bring this back to John and Bill, but the variables involved in a building project, cost, materials, and time, it's the one that's fixed with us is the cost. So it would be about repurposing some of those construction funds from an initial plan of
building a septic system
to probably wanting to have some of that repurposed for paving. And so
is the septic system underneath their parking lot?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, so they have to dig that up.
I'm going to have to dig up. to hook in and everything else. And so that was originally why they said no. And then Michael Weir says, well, this is going to chew up, what you've already agreed to is going to chew up the sides of your parking lot anyway, so you might as well just
Do this.
let the old library group hook in. And so they're open to that.
Oh, good.
And agreeable to that if we felt that was an acceptable change, revision of the budget.
What
And
about water?
they said it's probably good, and Mike's working on numbers right now and basically said this is going to cost less. This project will cost less to do it this way, and they're also going to hook into the church water.
Oh, good, that's what I was concerned
Yeah.
about.
Rather than going across the
Street,
street,
that's
the
expensive.
tunnel,
Yeah.
all of that.
Wow.
So yeah, some things have changed. It seems much more logical, and so I told them I'd report back to them after I heard from you two, and then I've asked kind of Peter to put together a rough draft of the land use agreement document.
With those conditions.
Yeah, and everybody at the Chapel Association seemed to really feel like we addressed everything they were concerned about, so.
That sounds great.
That sounds too good to be true.
I know, almost.
Yeah, it's really gonna simplify things. So,
And save us some money.
if it's, I'll continue on with this if I've got your blessing to do so, and we'll
I'm fine, yeah.
just keep reporting in, and we'll leave that on as an action item, Julie. And keep everybody posted.
Very good. Nice job on that.
Yeah, well, you know who really did a nice job with that is Mike Weeder.
Really?
Yeah, and of course, he's great to work with. And of course, Joyce Allen is the chair of the Chapel Association, and Joan Aubrey, and everybody is working really well together. And that makes a difference. So. Action item, Julie A. Drainage easement. Is there any?
Yeah, Burr, I guess, plans to get out to Green Hill this week, so we haven't heard from him. But Peter had said the easement can be created without a plan, but a plan is the preferred way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all the news that
Yeah.
Julie had. So.
And when I talked to Burr about the transfer station, he mentioned that whole thing was in the works and in progress. He's communicating with Peter, so that's moving forward. Dundee Road striping.
Yeah, that, let's see. I had spoken with Eric Healy at the Traffic Bureau, and he stated that roads need to be more than 22 feet wide for striping.
Was that Dundee or was that Carter
I'm
Notch?
sorry, did I
That's
say
Carter
Dundee?
Notch Road,
Yeah, it does
sorry.
say Dundee.
Yeah.
Oh, does it say Dundee?
Yeah, Carter
it's
Notch, though,
yeah.
that was the issue.
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. So it was a width issue.
It was a width issue, and Jay went up and measured, and where the striping ends, it is less than 22 feet, but if you go further, it gets wider. So Eric's recommendation, if he suggested to make a formal request in writing to the DOT.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to
We can do that.
But it seems like it was more of a safety issue, you know, I guess because if it's less than 22 feet, it makes people go off to the shoulder.
Right.
So,
So we can't continue the striping where it ends because the road is not 22 feet wide.
Only for a section of it though, right?
just a section.
Yeah, so the
Jay
question
said there's
is-
sections where it is wide, but then it goes low again.
Some sections are wide enough and some are
Yeah.
not. So would we want to request, so it would be a kind of a broken up series of
That'd be
stripings?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to anybody, or?
They just won't stripe it if it's under 22 feet at all? None.
No.
That is,
So what would they recommend anything when it's odd, irregular widths like that? Go by law of averages or?
He thought the decision was made several years ago not to stripe the road, and he's been with the department for 16 years.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like it'd have to be
Request.
paved
For that
Right.
width.
to make it the right width for
Yeah.
striping.
we could pay to widen
Right.
it. But at any rate, I guess the people that have been wondering why the striping stops there, that's why.
That's why.
So, making sure that gets out there. I can't remember who was it here. I know Peter was here and commented, but who was it that was asking? It was George Howard.
Yeah, George, yeah.
Howard, yeah.
I think basically we can I don't know, how do you guys feel about moving forward? Just let him know that's why it stops, and if he wants to see about,
I would say let them know that's why it stopped,
Yeah.
and see where you go from
Yeah.
there. I don't think you want to go widening roads just to get it painted and all those kind of things.
right,
No.
right.
It stopped, and if somebody has some new idea, we'd address it.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Do we have his email address? Does he communicate?
Yeah.
Can you just
Yeah.
send him a
Okay.
quick letter at some point next week? Or
Answer his
email,
question.
just say, hey, here's the answer.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Letters to the building inspector. Is this the hiring committee?
Yeah, we sent the letters for the
Applicants.
candidates, yep. And then these letters are just thank yous for the committee, the hiring committee
Okay,
members.
excellent. And then the,
News.
just an update that we were posting those 2 openings we talked about, and that's happened.
Yes,
Great.
it has. I put it on e-news and it's on the website, but I have not
Okay,
had any responses yet.
we can take that off. Just let us know if you hear from anybody. Take it off the action items. You run it as long as you feel like you need to, or
Yes.
whatever.
Bill, you missed the last one, Bill. One last page.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I know you. You're the new guy.
You saying I missed a lot?
Milking that, aren't you?
Oh, he has been, he has been.
Okay.
He's been milking that for a long time.
Yeah, been over a year.
Yeah. We got the word out on the Dundee Road paving to Bob, right?
Yes,
Did
yeah.
he get that information? Okay, great. Yeah, I rode around and looked at everything Monday. Basically, Dame Hill, everybody understands there are some rocks under there, but with the pitch and everything, a rubber-tired backhoe may not be able to do the work on that pitch, and it was the suggestion of the paving companies that looked at it, as well as the town garage. It's like, look, if you really want to do Dame Hill right, you reclaim, you do more than reclaim, you do a box cut, which is 5 times more expensive, and so because that's not in the budget this year, it's a shim coat. They did take some rocks out of that. It's Dame Hill is the steep section that when you go over to Bartlett and you're back on pavement
Towards
and you
Crossroads.
go
Oh,
down,
yeah, okay.
right before the Bennett's, and yeah, and so it's short, but it's steep. There are some rocks pushing up there. So that was, and I mean, it would be throwing high 5, maybe 6 figures at that short section of road based on the use it's getting. It didn't seem to make a lot of sense
With that
to
box cut?
anybody involved to do a box cut on that section. Yeah, again, a box cut is
You're
your,
gonna do the box cut though on this end of Dundee?
they're going to reclaim.
Yeah.
They dug it up. The box cut is where they go down 2 feet and then put,
New material.
2 feet of gravel
That's
in.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So they're reclaiming that whole half mile is reclaimed.
Up to the drift.
Yeah, I think it's going to stop about 30 feet before the end of the pavement, because right at the end it's flat and it's in good shape. There's no point in
Oh, yeah.
in box cutting that last 30 feet or so, but everything else from Mountain View Road up. So.
Just box cutting? Or just
No, reclaim.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that big. If you saw that big machine.
Oh, yeah, I know, I was right into it. It was backing down the hill as I was going up.
Nice.
Right on the corner, right on the corner.
Okay, and then appointment letters for the old library management committee. We still need to know about the terms. Hey, Susan. So once we get that, we'll be able to put together those appointment letters.
Terms?
Well, we reappointed the 5 people that were sitting on that committee in April, but we're not sure, but we have to have those length of terms, say they're all 3 years, and we
Right.
need to stagger them,
Stagger.
and we've got 2 other people. So Joan said that at some point, she expected the committee to get together and just kind of draw straws or talk it out, or
Unless you
whatever.
want to, either way. Have you
Yeah.
gotten any other people wishing to be on the committee?
Not yet.
No responses, no.
So
Put it right back out there again.
we're looking for a few
Shake the
good
trees.
ones. Shall we just run it?
Yeah, right.
And until we,
In the paper, in the newspaper?
No, e-news.
e-news, yeah,
Okay.
be
In
good.
spite of your
Did you see
excellent wording, somebody came up to me the other day and said, so 2 people have left the committee and we need to replace them.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
And I said, no, it was
It's okay.
worded very specifically that they were new positions.
Yep. I don't know.
Oh,
Okay, so that's where that is, and then we'll get the appointment letters, Susan, once, we have to have those terms in the appointment letters, and then once we do that, and then we'll get the swearing in and all that.
Yeah.
But for right now, we have the committee and it's up and functioning, and so it's not holding anything back that we don't know who's choosing to serve what length of term.
Next meeting, I think, is August 3rd, first Sunday in August.
There's no real time.
No, so
That's fine.
if somebody wanted to come to that meeting before, well,
First
deadline.
Sunday in
I
August.
did, I put July 20th, but it doesn't have to be.
Oh, let's get it done. I mean, if
Just
nobody
figured
wants
it's
to be on
quicker.
the committee,
Yeah.
then we'll just keep going the way we are. They have a chance.
What's that?
When I sent out the e-news, I said
Oh.
to return,
Oh.
reply by the July 20th, just hoping they would. like,
Right,
Think about it, put it
Think
again,
about it,
yeah,
yeah.
keep it on there.
okay.
so.
Excellent. Okay, those are the action item updates. Either one of you have anything else on action items you wanted to contribute?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. Excellent. Moving on to agenda item number 3, public comment. Any public comment at this point in the meeting? All right then.
Let me just,
Yeah.
since somebody said that, I'd like to thank the town of Jackson for the response regarding my mother's passing. I think the town of Jackson was really admirable in what happened. Secondly, I've had questions, and I'm saying this for you two guys, I'm afraid you'll get cornered, but I have a blue tank out in my front yard, and I'm going to use it for a cistern. I plan to build a shed to put all my tools in. I will get a permit for the shed. I do not need a permit to put the tank in. So the point is, I'm going to put the tank in the ground and build a shed over top of the tank, collect the water off the shed to gravity flow it out to use. So I just didn't want you all to get cornered and say, what's going on? Does he have a permit to do all that work and all that? So right now, I've checked with Goody. I think I'm legal. Everything's okay.
Okay, I think you're legal.
So you're not taking advantage of all this wonderful power you have right now as an elected official, is what you're telling us, right?
No, I think I'd be ground up and thrown out.
Okay. Well, we still got that reclaimer in town.
That would work. Shorten it.
Anything else under public comment, Hank? You all set? Police report, Sean.
Afternoon, everyone.
Officer Callan, afternoon.
Yes, we meet again. Thank you,
Welcome
sir.
back. Okay, calls for service. We had 1 motor vehicle accident with a deer. We had 2 bear complaints and 4 medical assists. One was at Jackson Falls. A visitor slipped on, I'm not even sure if they slipped on a rock or what they slipped on, had a head injury.
Ooh.
2 reports, found property reports. 1 reported assault on a juvenile, which was unfounded when we responded. We were gone. 5 burglar alarms that were all false alarms or accidental. 2 domestic disturbance calls. 1 call for assisting Bartlett Police Department with a 911 hang-up. 1 911 hang-up of our own. 4 fire calls or fire assists. 1 VIN verification. 1 boat VIN verification. A subpoena service. 1 lost property report. 1 report of tree in the road. 1 ALS hearing, which is a court-related thing. 1 informational report, 2 requests for house checks, and 4 district court hearings or trials. Also, 1 project good morning check. Aside from that, we had the town fireworks, which went pretty well, but you probably know they were double the population, probably from the rain the night before, raining the condos. And as far as in town is concerned, I thought everything went well. We did notice this time around, people were parking all over Route 16. You probably noticed that too. And that's now could be a new issue for the future. I don't know. So signs, cones, whatever, we'll come up with a plan for that. And one other thing is, it's been bounced back and forth between state or town, concerning one particular parking sign that we want to get renewed because it's faded out. And it's this side of the covered bridge, on the
Right-hand side?
yes, the right-hand side, thank you. And it does belong to, it's town responsibility, we call it. Kenny told us it was the town, he gave us a number to call, and the sign expert said, yeah, that's town. So just if you can have the town guys throw up another sign, it's possible. It's a help.
Okay.
So,
Right there where Flossie's is?
yes, that's
Were the fires active
Actually-
fires? You said there were 4 fire calls?
fire calls. That could mean smoke in the kitchen or things like that. So no,
We didn't
no
have any major
actual.
ones. No?
I'm sorry.
We didn't have any major ones.
No, not that I was just saying.
Cool. Very good.
Thank you, Sergeant Calvin. You want to bring up some of the things, the one thing you and I talked about before the meeting about porta potties?
We did actually at the safety meeting
Okay.
earlier today, so
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go hit up the chamber on that and see
Great.
what we can do about that one.
Yeah.
Put that
I-
one on my action list.
I don't know if it was because of the rain the night before that we got so many people, or probably just need to be ready for it every year.
I think
kind
there were
of
just that
crowd.
many people up
Yeah.
here. They really do.
Right.
I went to the one in Conway. It was
Most
raining.
people are in the city.
Sorry, B?
Most people.
That's what
are.
everybody said.
Yeah.
No
They
question.
were packed in every nick and cranny.
Yeah.
We came back through Dundee, and I'll tell you, the traffic flow going south was going well. You must have met 50 cars going south
Yeah.
On Dundee?
on Dundee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, word is out to take that way rather than get stuck in town. Was there a lot of gridlock? Did it clear out?
It took longer to clear out because
In the
to the
village?
point where I don't know if this will happen, but I was like, well, it'd be easier to shut the bridge off, just have everybody go the other way, and it'd just be smoothed out because you got 2 officers on each end, 16A,
Letting people in and out.
letting people out. So when I let people out, they can only go so far, and then they stop and just let people out.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely took a lot longer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good that you guys are kind of
Thinking about
briefing a little bit on that, what could work or whatever. But yeah, I heard it was, I talked to Carl a little bit. Smooth, all things considered, considering the crowd.
Yes.
One of the things I was wondering if you didn't allow all those cars to park on Route 16, and he mentioned there was a lot of it, where would they be able to park?
That's
Because the town was pretty full.
It's between people who are parking there purposefully to walk over and see the fireworks.
Right.
But then you have a lot that just come through to see fireworks and just
Stop.
last minute.
Pull
just
in.
pull over, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Coning
And we
is
would
signed.
have the cone showing, remember up Farm Hill?
Yes.
After they got by that, from Bobby, Missouri, they double packed all the way up to Peter Rattay's Road.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you for
No
that.
doubt.
Yeah, they were double
Yeah.
packed.
Or
So
not.
more cones in the budget?
I'm just telling you, that's what happened.
That's
Cone
a-
budget.
Double packed, they were
Every
even
small
packed
town
in
should have a
cones.
cone budget.
Cone budget.
I was wondering on the dirt part of Red Fox, whether they were, if that was,
I didn't get to see it. I don't know.
I mean, I don't want to offer them as a parking area, but, I just wonder where else can you park around here?
Yeah.
No, we packed at
Right.
Bobby, Missouri, we had permission, and then just come out.
Mhm. So any idea, was there an estimate given on the crowd?
I didn't get
Number?
one officially.
It's kind of hard to figure that out, I know.
I just basically could tell because of there was an influx of people, you could see it, but letting the traffic out took like twice as long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it's an issue, I'm sorry, do you think it's an issue of where they are as opposed to where they used to be?
I think,
Partly, don't you, Sean?
I think that is part of it, yes. Yeah.
In the park?
Makes it a lot more congested in that one area.
Yeah. That makes
It's tight
sense.
there, too.
Yeah.
And even the one bathroom that you have access to, like I mentioned in the safety meeting, was taped off because they need a radius of people where they can't come in, so.
Mm,
Yeah, but
Pretty
they
tough.
shouldn't, I didn't think it was open.
I do not know.
It
I
hasn't
think
been.
was-
If it was open, they couldn't get to it legally anyways because it was roped off.
That's not a good point.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's good that we got through it in fine fashion, and you guys
No
talked about a
incidents.
few things today at your meeting, so great.
Were all three of you on that day, or that night?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir.
So the building inspector's file here is agenda item 5. Might be best just to read through the email and see if anybody's got any questions or concerns about any of the items on here. More new building permits this week included a new single-family home proposed for East High Pastures. More rough-in inspections for Mr. Curtis Milton on 609 Route 16, Jackson. New stair and wall construction leading to a new wedding tent at the Eagle Mountain House. New owner remodel of single family located on 70 Ridge Road. Rough-in electrical inspection at 156 Dundee Basement that's being finished. Annual fire inspection for Shenandoah Restaurant and Pub. Final approval for remodel and certification of access bridge to 12 Black Mountain Road property with new single-family home to follow. So that sounds like he's given the final approval on that. Excellent. So it sounds like everybody's satisfied with how that bridge is going to function and the load that it can carry. Usual contractor meetings and information being emailed or phone conversations. More walk-in traffic on both days as a result of the posted schedule. And by that he means he has a posted regular set schedule where he's in town and keeping
Sweet.
office hours. So I think that's been a really good,
Awesome.
yeah. So within all of that is an extended porch on map V2, lot 8. David Armstrong extending his porch to go around the side of the house. Map 7, lot 6, map R7, lot 6, Cardinach Holdings on Cardinach Road installing some solar panels. And map V5, lot 32, Brian Post extending a building permit for 1 year to construct a 24 by 32-foot home. Map V9, lot 31, Town of Jackson, removing the load-bearing wall in the fire station. Increase the ability to utilize the existing building. Map R9, lot 28, Richard Sincere, extending his building permit. His contractor's Curtis Milton. So that must have been a reference to Curtis on
Right.
there. Any questions about any of Goody's
No.
work this week? Sounds like he's keeping busy.
I'll say.
Agenda item number 6, new business. Red Fox. We had to redo that. And did everybody sign it?
Yes, it's done, yes.
Okay, excellent. So that'll get out, and they need that because they have a special function Saturday, right? Okay, yeah, okay, for the golf tournament. So they're all set. And then another item under new business, the tax abatement, and this is based on the agreement reached with Old Jackson Village, Inc., otherwise known as Bob Sear. We had incorrect amounts on the first set of letters that we signed. So we have already approved this, but we need to re-sign because the amount was incorrect on the spreadsheet. So this one has got 2 separate spots for signatures. you. Cool. Guess Susan couldn't stay. I guess Susan couldn't stay.
She's out in the.
She's up.
Okay, because we kind of already went over all the old library stuff, but she wasn't here when we did, so we could recap if she'd like. But at any rate, is that what you were going to say?
Yeah,
I just,
you want me to get it?
you know,
I'll get it.
if she's out there,
I'll
it
ship that.
might be just
Thanks,
as
Pete.
well to review that one more time, if she'd like. So the old library is under old business too, and we kind of reviewed it when we went through
Okay.
the action items, because that was one of my action items, was to get together, and I met with the Protestant Chapel Association, and I know
Yep.
Joan couldn't make it, none of you guys were there, but everybody in the Protestant Chapel Association was. It was really our meeting anyway. Now that you've reformed, the town has the authority to negotiate with them, and we went through the terms of, the suggested terms that Peter Malia felt should be contained in the land use agreement. Everybody was very agreeable. A couple of minor details that we ironed out that they would also like to see in there. I think the most notable was having the town revisit that land use agreement every 5 years. So
Yeah.
we're not all looking at an 80-year-old agreement that
Okay,
hasn't
so
been looked at
was-
since.
Yeah, that was forwarded to me, I think.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And when I notified Peter of the results of the meeting, which was last Thursday, and I emailed him Friday, I said, here's what we came up with. And that was the 4th, so I didn't expect to hear from him until Monday, and Monday says I just got back, long weekend, probably won't get to drafting something by Thursday.
Okay.
I told him I really wanted something today so we could talk about it, and everybody here could, in public, decide if there were other terms that we wanted to see in there. And but we'll get it when we get it, and we'll move it forward. I don't know, I'd like to maybe have a quick conversation between meetings here, or after this meeting with Michael Reeder, to see if there's a real need to have that signed sooner rather than later. I think our option would be, don't call a special meeting.
Do that.
Does that make sense
No.
to you guys, or is it that urgent? I don't know.
No?
Okay,
Doesn't look like.
no sense of
construction
urgency
is
on
gonna start
that?
anytime soon, but I don't think
Okay.
construction really hinges on that agreement anyway.
It doesn't,
Given their verbal blessing.
right, absolutely.
So,
And I'm sure you're familiar with the changes and how that
yeah.
project is gonna look, and,
Yeah, if that all gets done, and as of this morning, Joan hadn't heard from
Like,
Burl Phillips, or Mike hadn't heard from Burl
Okay.
Phillips
all right,
with a new plan.
all right.
But it seems to be getting simpler, which is good.
Yeah, then that's what we all felt, and we talked about how
Simplicity is good.
it's gonna mean using those funds in a different way,
Yeah.
but in the end, Mike felt the project was gonna cost less, and
is
so.
that going to be a sticking point? I know with trust funds, we have to, verbiage has to be very particular. You can't buy a truck if you want to buy a grader, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
I think that the end result's the same.
The money was appropriated to put in a bathroom
Yeah.
and septic.
Right.
Sometimes it is.
I don't know exactly how it's
My
wife.
worded.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, we probably should
Check
pull
that.
that warrant article out and have a look at it.
Make sure that's not going to hold us over.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, the trustees of the trust funds, I guess, are the decision makers on that. And I think it would be in everybody's interest to get it done sooner than
Absolutely.
later.
Communicate
And
with
we'll
them,
save
so-
money by doing it
Put
this
that down.
way.
Sure.
Action item, yeah. Just give them an update. It's gonna be less trench heavy and more asphalt heavy, and probably cost less by everybody's estimate all
Sure.
around.
Oh, yeah.
And
Equipment
still
already
accomplish
exists.
the same thing. So, okay. That was it. Thank you.
I'm just in the hallway.
for
Okay.
coming back in.
You don't like us, or?
Yeah. We do. Do you want to, there was some old business regarding Prospect Farm, and I didn't get a hold of anybody to kind of get a sense of what was entailed up there. Prospect Farm, the gate that goes straight through.
Yeah.
You can, there's a sign up there that says, you know, Jackson residents can, what does it say? It's
I
basically,
haven't looked
I
at
haven't
it.
seen it, but some gentleman emailed me and said Jackson residents are required to have a permit to access the road.
yeah.
So
I don't understand.
I know. You,
Don't
I
understand the sign.
really,
I'm wondering,
Carl was going to take a picture of the sign and show and email me or show it to me.
who is?
Carl.
Oh, okay.
I asked, I
Yeah.
called Jay, and Jay said to ask Carl to send a picture of the
Yeah.
sign, so.
So the
you
email,
have to have a permit for
I don't
it. I don't, well, maybe driving.
right,
drive.
that.
That's what they're referring to.
And that's what they're referring to, and it led this citizen to feel like he could come down, get a key to the gate, and drive up.
That's what I was told.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know who told me this was some time ago, but
right.
said, yeah, you come down and go to the clerk's office. That's why I thought you get a key, but
Right.
I don't know where that is. Or
Yeah. I don't.
you don't have keys to pass out, right?
Well,
No.
when I first started, some gentleman came in to get the key to the farm, and he said that residents can use the key, and he did. He signed up the key for that day, and he brought
Oh,
it back.
okay.
Yeah, they used to have it hanging, the keys.
It's-
I don't know what they have
So
now.
maybe it's
It
true.
Used to be marked. like
We know where the
this.
keys are, yeah.
Yeah,
The keys are right inside the office hanging.
yeah.
Yeah.
But what are the conditions? Can somebody go up there and dirt bike around, or use an ATV? I mean,
four-wheeling.
You
Oh,
know,
Snowmobiling?
Snowmobiling is okay, that was a big discussion.
Snowmobiling is okay up there?
Oh, yes. Mr. Tom Downhill, who started snowmobiling in town,
Mm.
yeah, that was okay here because they had a big debate at town meeting house.
how long ago was that?
My husband's got a better memory for dates. I can check it out. I have all the time reports and I'll
Yeah.
look it up.
Well, I think that one little email, and all of a sudden you got a big project.
Right, right. It opens up a can of worms.
Are we
Yeah,
required
I
of
know
that?
snowmobiling
residents?
was okay.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely was. I would say maybe 70s.
Yeah.
Wow.
So are we required to let residents go up there and use that property for any reason, or is it something we can do or must do, and what are the limits for use? And-
Is there something written up about prospect usage?
We just got the email, I just had to talk about it this afternoon, so
I didn't know
we
anything
haven't had a
about it.
chance to really research it. I think there's a stump dump over on the right
Yeah,
that we routinely give out the key for using, but we haven't been able to, and haven't really had a chance to dig into the files and stuff,
Yeah.
get a sense of what's in writing, what does somebody do, is it
I
day
know,
use
all I
only?
do know is snowmobiling was voted at the town
Yeah.
meeting.
Mm.
That I do know.
If you're-
Otherwise, the other.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
And what's the criteria around giving out a key?
Right.
So kind of, will probably be somebody's action item between now and the next meeting.
Yeah.
We'll get an update. And
I
figure
did
that out.
ask at the conservation meeting about the forestry several years ago. They promised the parking lot. And they said that one of them, Walker, was working. They said they promised it. That was definite promise from forestry.
Across from Camp Gout?
Yeah,
where they-
I can't go, yeah,
Yeah.
because they did something and they were supposed to definitely put it in for us.
This for that exchange.
Yeah.
And it never panned out. And we did, we did investigate that. I think it was about a year ago, and we got shut down. I think Jay was told no, they were not going to put a parking lot up there.
Well.
Oh, he looked into it?
I think we did at one
I'll
time.
call Mr. Riccarisi.
All right,
He promised it.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Public comments?
I have a list of items that B and Bob and I met last Tuesday that I'm going to work on, page or so of things that need some attention. One of which was the parking lot that we just discussed.
Okay,
So I'll pick up on that.
all right.
And I'll call him, John, because
Thank you.
they definitely promised us.
Yeah, thank you, B.
That's the government.
Excellent. Well, that pretty much wraps up the public session here, since there are no other public comments. I will entertain a motion to enter into non-public session.
So